Former military of Reddit. What's the craziest thing that you've witnessed at boot camp? Craziest thing I saw was dudes hogs. I went to basic training at Fort Jackson, SE in 1994. Our barracks were just like the ones in Full Metal Jacket. That means one shower. That's right. An open shower room with 8 shower heads and 40 dudes all showering at the same time. No stalls, just assholes and elbows. I've never seen that many naked men at once before or since. Every dong shape and color you can imagine. It was a rainbow of schlong, privates and their privates. My eyes didn't burn taking off my gas mask in the CS chamber ... but they did in the shower, due to all the cock. My dad's stories from South African conscription in the early 80s. 1. At a bonfire one night, a drunk corporal started firing live ammunition into the fire. Incredibly dangerous thing to do. Point 2. To wake people up one morning, a captain fired his rifle into a tree trunk. Unlike in movies where hiding behind a tree stops a bullet, in real life they don't always. Some poor soul leaning against the other side of the tree having a smoke took it to the head and died. Incredibly stupid things to do. My dad said he sometimes felt lucky to make it out without dying to friendly fire. Once, this guy thought it would be a great idea to dash through the barracks, but naked just as a drill sergeant strolled in. So, as punishment, he got stuck with fire guard duty the whole night and had to scoot around the barracks on his knees, wearing only his underwear. The funniest part, he had 2 flashlights, one with a blue lens and the other with a red lens. And as he shuffled along, he started making a wee woo wee woo wee woo sound like a police siren. I didn't get much sleep that night, but man, it was totally worth it. This is not a first-hand account, this is a story from my brother who completed boot camp in the summer of 2018 for the USMC. According to my brother, during boot camp, he saw 2 guys trying to run away. The drill sergeants and other ranking officers chased and tackled him. Furthermore, he told me that someone was taken to medical because he had attempted suicide with some cleaning materials he stole. I always heard about how rough boot camp could be, but when I heard this, it changed my whole perspective. And they're essentially your entire wardrobe closet. You put everything except dirty laundry and shoes, boots in here. Dirty laundry goes into a bag tied to your bed. Footwear goes under your bed. It has a long side for your dress uniforms and a short side with some drawers underneath for everything else. Some funny man decided to hop into the short side and jump out at people to give them a spook. First and last one he spooked was the drill instructor. Someone got caught with a protein bar and the drill sergeant filled an ammo can with dirt, buried the protein bar and handcuffed the ammo can to the dude. He did the last month and a half with it attached to him. Shower, training, eating, PT, everything. At graduation he had to take a knee and eat the bar. There was an incident in another platoon where a group of dudes got in trouble for hazing. All 6 of them were forced to cut down trees with their e-tools. In Georgia, in July. It looked absolutely brutal. 1 cousin on the heavy side joined the Army Guard. In basic, they put his ass in the FATBO program and made him march behind unit while toting a telephone pole with a screwed-in handle everywhere he went to. While in OTS, a candidate figured out it was a bad idea to have a bunch of pot in his possession, so he decided to smoke it. He disappeared for 8 days at 4 a.m. The dogs found him in a closet on the closed 4th floor of our building. He was dehydrated and shit all over himself, but still alive. First night we were allowed out, everyone obviously hit the town to get shitfaced. 1 dude got blackout drunk, went back to base barracks, and ended up pissing onto different recruits. He first went into one room and started pissing on a dude sleeping in the bottom of a bunk bed. Then 5 minutes later walked into another room and did the very same thing. The last guy woke up and started screaming, and the blacked out dude pretty much ended up a week in the camp cell. Saw a guy get 2 fingers smashed off. Not cut off, smashed so flat they had to be amputated. He was wearing gloves when it happened, and one of the guys picked it up for him. Smashed guy feels around in it and announces that there's something there. The whole platoon was in the washroom watching when this kid shook his hollowed out fingertip out of his glove with the fingernail still on it. Whole are instant barbarians. And then one guy in the back yelled, "Eat it. USNC here." During one of the hikes we had this recruit our drill instructors call Frodo because of his height. He wasn't the strongest hiker. He always gave it 100. Well, one day we're going up one of the steepest hills and Frodo starts struggling. Out of nowhere a drill instructor yells, "Okay Frodo, your ass can hike all the way to Mordor. But your ass can't hike up this tiny fucking hill." Everyone pretty much lost their bearing and laughed their asses off. There was one person that kept causing us to get extra PT every day until the ceiling was dripping raining from the moisture of us breathing. Eventually he got pinned down from all four corners of his sheets, or pretty much everyone in the division took turns pelting him with bar soap in our socks. We learned how to work as a team, and he learned to keep his damn mouth shut during PT. We called ourselves the Ricky Ninjas from that point on. I'm not a military man, but my military brother told me how a couple of days ago they had a medical lesson in a small bomb shelter. We're from Ukraine. One of the instructors simply threw an airsoft grenade right into this small concrete room where there were a couple dozen people. The grenade immediately exploded and overwhelmed everyone. Then, when everyone left at once, he said congratulations to everyone on the first convocation. We were at the obstacle course with another platoon from our company. One of their DIs started choking one of the recruits, like fully straddling him on the ground, hands around his neck. Type choking. I didn't see what preceded it, so I have no idea why or what happened, but 3 other DIs pulled him off the kid. I never directly saw anything super crazy, but you hear a lot of stories while there. Second hand. I was at Air Force. I was bullshitting with a guy who came over from the Marines. I went in under Obama. He went in under Bush. He went to Paris Island in August 2021. In boot, they always do some sort of "they nuked us" drill to scare the recruits, and he was ready for it. They even make up newscasts and stuff for it all, so everyone thought 9/11 was a ruse. Some all the way through. We had a guy get a ball on his buttocks. Instead of going to the medic, he used a safety pin to try to pop it. Don't worry. He doused it in hand sanitizer to clean it first. Well, that didn't work, and it only got the ball infected. He had to go to the hospital to get it lanced, packed, and treated for 10 days straight. He almost got recycled but ended up graduating. It was me. I was the guy. We were in week 3 of training, and everyone in the flight was wearing summer weight BDS with our summer weight hats. One moron decided to wear winter weight BDS and the winter hat with the foldable flaps that cover your ears when it's cold. RT noticed it and made him pull the flaps down over his ears and chant out "Kill the Wabbit. Kill the Wabbit" as we marched to and from appointments. Was in the army. Craziest things I can think of was a guy told a drill SGT off and got knocked out for it. Drill SGT just grabbed him by the belt and dragged him to their office. Another person made it all the way through basic till the 20K march to the last obstacle course we would do. Got part way through the course and slipped and fell off the top of the tower, broke their arm and collarbone. Drill SGT choked slamming a kid through 3 rows of lockers because he refused to train. All while Private Biddle says, I don't remember that in the pamphlet they gave my parents. Imagine the implied threat of violence, while you have some dude trying to make you laugh your ass off. Drill SGT. Does anyone else refuse to train? US trying not to laugh in front leaning rest. No drill SGT. Not real crazy, but it was hilarious at the time. Paris Island, Christmas 01. A recruit for the Marine Corps band was in my platoon. His mum sent him one of those Christmas cards which beeps "Merry Christmas" and opened. STI made him stand on the company quarterdeck and hold that fucker over his head while singing screaming "Merry Christmas" for hours. 2 guys were caught fighting after lights out. TS runs upstairs, grabs the two guys and drags them downstairs. The next morning the two guys look worn and ragged, but seem to be in good spirits and seem to now be good buddies. Apparently the DS made them hug each other, look into each other's eyes, and say I love you to each other non-stop for the whole night. We were taking the first live round shooting, setting up sights, etc., and all of a sudden one of the guys gets up and starts to walk right down the range, waving his rifle everywhere and yelling at the lieutenant and sergeants to kill him. Thankfully no one was hurt, and the whack job was carrying a stick for about 2 weeks until they discharged him. Had a guy tell the D that he wanted a discharge, and the D started yelling at him, cussing him out, etc., and he asked the guy what he was going to do with the rest of his life. The guy responded that he wanted to be a rock star. About a week later, as we were marching by, we saw him picking up rocks in the parking lot. LOL. Second-hand story from my Marine grandpa. He slapped a sand flea that bit his neck during formation. Drill sergeant made him dig a regulation grave in the sun to bury it. Also, I watched a buddy just out of boot camp get his foot ran over by Bradley. That was the first time I ever watched the body part pop. Just a funny thing from compulsory basic training not in the US. My drill sergeant was declared unfit for regular service halfway through my training. The official reason was that chewing ability not given because his teeth were so rotten. As a result they made him the head of the cantina.